Welcome to SFL This Week, a late night edition with Mike St. Green. I'm Cameron Irvine, and kickoff of Louisiana and Vancouver is just about a half hour away. We don't have a ton of time this week, Mike, but it's good to welcome back the people. How's your week?
I had a great week leading up to tonight, Cam, and what a great night to be here to honor, some of that SFL's great, fallen personalities and players.
And we got off to a hot start in Mexico City tonight, where the Aztecs once again won in their Santa Fe Guerrilla throwbacks. They clobbered Atlanta 52-24 despite a great performance from Bryant Dynasty in a loss, which is a rare thing to see in the SFL. What were your takeaways from that game?
Well, if you would have told me, going into this game, Bryant Dynasty, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, I would have said that either Atlanta was extremely competitive, if not won this ball game. But early, say mid-second quarter, there was a fumble and recovery by Mexico City on a kick return, and that pretty much turned this game on its ear, and Mexico City got on a roll. Atlanta really couldn't get much of a running game going to help support Bryant Dynasty in the passing game, and before you knew it, it was pretty much out of hand.
Yeah, Atlanta is 2-3. It's kind of like the Atlanta of last season, Mike. They have beaten the teams that they should beat, and they have not been able to find a way to pull an upset as the underdogs. So Atlanta will continue trying to rack up wins. Queen City and Pittsburgh over the next couple of weeks, so it's definitely right in front of them for Mexico City. They're 3-1, but they got Fort Worth and Canton coming up next, so that's big. We've got a lot of SFL action to get to in just a little bit of time, so we're going to get to that shortly, and then we've got Mike's Spectaculars and Haynes Vision and some look backs on some SFL legends who are no longer with us, unfortunately. But let's get to the fastest 5 minutes in SFL history right now as we roll through the highlights. We start in Motor City, where King Jackson finds Phil Koss on the opening drive, and it was that from the jump, from start to finish, for King Jackson and the rest of that Motor City V8's offense. Hey, how about the defense getting a rare safety here, making it 12-7 Motor City. They led 19-10 at the half. Johnny Pickler was not done. Reggio De Niro wide open with the score, 19-17 in the opening minute of the third quarter. Too much Motor City offense. Christopher Dean breaks off a tackle. He scores 26-17. Dean is in the end zone, and the fans are loving it. King Jackson to Terrell Cooper. Finds him down the sideline. He breaks away from one, and Anthony Weil had to save the touchdown. They would tack on a rushing score there to make it 33-17. Now 33-24. King Jackson rolling, firing finding King Alexander, as he scores, makes it 40-24, and that's a win. Hold on, we're not done with the highlights yet. Okay, Kenny Slider hits Gabriel Manning late in the third quarter. Lexington was down 9-3 at that point, but Gabriel Manning took over as Kenny Slider finds him once again late in the third quarter. 10-9. Sully Richardson fires downfield. That's David Ware's replacement. He was out of the game due to injury. You can't do that if you're Sully Richardson, and LA is starting to collapse once again in the second half. Lexington loving every second of it. So is Gabriel Manning, who is in the end zone again for the touchdown, 17-9. Lexington goes up by 8. Sully Richardson not done. Fires. Jalen Wells walks in for the score. 17-15 now, going for 2. LA trying to tie the game, possibly force overtime. Nice play call, Darius Iniguez, but he's stopped. 17-15, Lexington wins the football game. Fort Worth and Albuquerque, as Cyrus Jive fires it over to Jack Wall, who's all alone. Albuquerque trying to pull the upset against the undefeated Fort Worth Toros, and they got off to a very hot start offensively. That was Wall. Now just 2 plays later, Cyrus Jive finds Michael Knight in the end zone for the score. Touchdown. Albuquerque leads 7-0. Henry McGee down 10-0 McGee breaking off tackles and getting Fort Worth all the way down the field made it 10-7, but Fort Worth's offense struggled the whole game. They had just 8 first downs, and unfortunately for the Toros, that score was the only score they had of the whole game. 4th down and 4, and Dunhill's pass is incomplete. Albuquerque's defense has given up 0 points in 2 home games. Now to Chicago, where Canton was at Chicago as Ty Patak, maybe the best throw of the season, finds Buchanan Simons early in the first quarter to put Chicago up 7. Canton would respond. Out to Logan Lee on a little dump off, tied the game at the end of the first quarter, 7-7. This was the play of the game, 3rd and goal. Chicago was down just 3, and Ty Patak threw it right to King Jamal, and he took it all the way back 98 yards for the pick 6. You just can't do that. Almost caught by John Fullerton, but King Jamal would not be denied, and Canton makes another terrific play. But hey, Chicago, to their credit, they did not go away. Pauly Truth from Patak makes it 17-14. Canton only up by 3, but they always had an answer. Touchdown Robert Johnson, 24-14. They won the game 31-21. Coach Ray Donaldson happy about that. One last highlight to get to, Houston, Carolina. This game was wild and wacky. Davidson Joseph on a pass intended for, Mike St. Green, touchdown, pick 6. Joseph scores 14-0. Skyhawks on top. But on the next possession for Houston, the doctor was in. A 79-yard touchdown throw and catch from Bruin to Sim. And look at St. Green with the block, redeeming himself, 14-7. As Houston trailed by just a touchdown at that point. Things got a little bit nutty after that. Josh Slapp fumbles, recovered by Carolina late in the 3rd quarter in a 17-7 ball game. But on the very next possession, Prasad fumbles, and Houston gets it right back. All sorts of craziness. Houston still down 10, though. Now they're down 3, in need of a big stop. But Vince DeSantis comes up clutch for the Skyhawks late in the 4th quarter with a few catches, and Carolina holds on to win 23-14. And that is your fastest 5 minutes in the SFL this week. There were some other games. There were some blowouts too, but let's start with Motor City, Mike. 40 points after scoring just 43 in the first 3 games combined. It felt like an awakening for the V8s. How did it feel like to you?
It was really kind of surprising, Cam, considering the game that the Indy defense had played just a week prior against Nashville. Coming up huge in that game, and as you mentioned, Motor City's offense has been struggling all season long, but to come up big, that's really impressive for them, and a big win, to be quite honest with you. But it really makes me question what is going on in Indy right now. When defense plays well, they can't put it together, on offense. When the offense plays well, the defense seems to come up short. These guys need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what they're going to do next, Cam, because I haven't seen any consistency out of these guys all season long thus far.
Indy Falls, their secondary looked awesome, but not against the V8s. They fall to 2-3. How about Gabe Manning? They were doing nothing, man. It was 9-3 late in the 3rd at home. It's such a luxury to be able to call on the former MVP and say, hey, you do it. And Los Angeles didn't have a count.
Yeah, season in and season out, Gabriel Manning, and week in and week out as well. He just continues to perform whenever it seems like a play needs to be made. He's always there to make a play. 8 catches, 110 yards. He's just an amazing player, Cam. He's one of the all-time greats, and he's been around a long time, and I can just see him continuing this for a long time to come.
Y'all are telling me in the chat I'm a little quiet. Let me know. Let me know if Mike St. Green is as well. We're still working on some audio stuff here at headquarters. There were some other games throughout the weekend, Mike. I'm interested to hear your spectaculars for the weekend, and if you want to touch on any of the others that got out of hand.
None of the games that got out of hand, but I did want to comment on the Albuquerque win over Fort Worth. That was probably, for me at least, the most impressive win of the weekend. you're going up against Fort Worth, undefeated team. I believe Albuquerque had come off of a loss, but I've always said I think that staff over there, they're one of the best bounce back, go back to the drawing board staffs in the entire SFL, including, SFLM. Obviously, they're just coming up, and I know that's a big statement to make, but they seem to know how to make adjustments over there and come up with an answer, and they came up with a big answer against Fort Worth. And the thing is, they were coming off of a loss where they were extremely productive against Baltimore, and they just kind of continued that in this game against Fort Worth, but the defense stepped up big. Jack Wall made, over 100 yards receiving. Just a great win for Albuquerque. It's a great motivating win for them.
It wasn't about what Florida did defensively. We know that Nashville is a talented offense, but a young offense. But what they did offensively against Nashville's defense, they just butchered them, 34-14. That was a little surprising. I thought Nashville's defense would have put up more of a fight, but Stephen Bush had a career day, and he was. I mean, it just seems like a different player every week for Florida stepping up to get him a victory.
Well, this basically shows why they're two-time defending champs, 5 championships overall. Just a tough team to match up against. Nashville, they're starting to get introduced to what the SFL really is like. From game to game, you have to bring your A game, and especially going up against the defending champs. They really found out what it's like to be a part of this, the major leagues.
We didn't have a whole lot of time this week to wrap up the week, but you can check out simfl.net for all the box scores and all the highlights that you may have missed throughout the weekend. But now to some more important things as we take a look back at Billy Ray Valentine, Leonard Butler Sr., Rich Pratchard, and Matt Wilson. Just some clips that we dug through the archives and found that are varying degrees of old, I guess. And shout out to Ben Charbs, who put together the Matt Wilson portion of this in a longer version that you can see in SFL archives and through the Discord and all that stuff. But also in Leonard Butler's portion, you will be hearing Discord notifications going off during that segment. It's not you, it's the segment. So please don't freak out that your Discord's making a bunch of noise. I guess it's a throwback to the olden days when we didn't know how to turn that off, I guess. But I hope everybody enjoys just a little walk down memory lane, and then we'll come back around for Mike Spectaculars and Haynes Vision on the other side.
You thought I was a better defensive end with defensive end.
That was probably one of the more perfect drafts I've ever seen.
You're so full of it. I remember I went before Billy Ray, and I was like, man, he's such an idiot. I'm like, man, I would have taken Billy Ray in like a second before I took myself. I was like, I was second round material. Billy Ray was definitely first round material.
Their mother.
Billy Ray, I am so glad you made it.
Looking good.
I'm glad I could make it, and I'm glad we were able to work this out. First and foremost, before anything, let me say happy belated birthday to you. I don't know when this is going to air, but I want to make sure I get it out there in the SFL universe that if anyone has or has not, make sure you wish Miss Ashley Jackson a happy early or belated birthday.
Happy 30th.
He's turning all of young 27, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I haven't seen 27 in a long time, dear. This
hey, I'm trying to make you feel better, hon.
I appreciate it. Well, I'm happy either way. I'm 39. I don't have an issue with telling my.
Yeah.
But still, I'm trying to make you feel better.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Billy. I really do, and that means a lot, especially being away from, my family. They back in Georgia. I'm all the way out here in Arizona, so getting the birthday wishes and all of that kind of stuff, it does help, so I appreciate it, y'all. But Billy, right now, you were not on when I asked Coco this question, so I have to ask you.
All right.
Give us an interesting fact about yourself. Actually, yeah, give us an interesting fact about yourself that many people don't know. Now, I know you've been on my show a long time ago, right?
I think probably like about minor days drafting.
Yeah.
Right around the draft time. So it's been a few years, but I am, if I had to say an interesting fact, I am a dealer at a local casino.
Really?
Yes. I spend the bulk of my days as a living taking people's money willingly. To put it nicely. So.
Coco said, take us out with a dad joke.
All right. Let's see. I want to keep it somewhat clean. So, why is justice served cold? Because if it was served warm, it'd be just water.
What? I get it.
It's what I'm known for.
Oh,
Makes it a dad. What makes it a
Atlanta.
dad joke? You have to dissect it. Yeah.
Hey,
God knows.
you know what? Don't feel bad. Atlanta's got to hear this like 24/7. Oh,
I'm a little bit jealous.
Oh,
But thanks, guys.
oh,
Appreciate you for hanging
you.
out. Come back whenever y'all want to. Doors always open.
I appreciate
thank you
it.
definitely for having us, and thank you for the idea and making it work.
Hey, man.
My brother from another mother.
Looking good, Billy Ray.
Virginia Beach will punt it away. So Pratchard moves to the sideline. Rich, are you with us?
I am.
How are you doing, Rich?
Not bad tonight.
So obviously you're playing in this one-of-a-kind game. You joined the SFL in the booth off the field in season 11. So what made you decide to enter in the rookie draft and get on the field and get some interest there?
Well, honestly, I came into the league just wanting to broadcast. I love broadcasting, do it all the time, and was just looking for another outlet, to be honest with you. But this league and this organization that the SFL is just so intriguing and just a lot of fun. So, I just could not see myself not getting more involved and getting a player out there on the field.
Boy, your teammates got a huge tackle for loss there, but jumped offside. You got any lessons for him out there, Rook?
You got to watch the ball. You got to wait for that ball to move. Come on now.
So let's share your story, Rich. Where are you from? What do you do? And what kind of impact are you trying to make on the SFL in your rookie season? What type of wide receiver would you describe yourself as?
Well, I'm from Hot Springs, Arkansas. I'm an IT manager most of the time, but I'm a football junkie and spend about 5 or 6 days a week now at least 5 or 6 days a week with the SFL, prepping for other games and broadcasting other games and doing PA for some games, and just a football guy. And as far as what kind of wide receiver, you got to be whatever your team needs. Just looking to be that big play guy that can stretch the field down, stretch the defense downfield.
Shout out to Conch Boogie, who saw Zachary Bates just make that tackle for Virginia Beach. Excited about that. As quickly here on a 2nd down and 7, a long ball is incomplete and whacked away. Ashley Jackson was the intended receiver, and so now it's a 3rd down and 7. Rich, what's been the conversations like with the teams around the league? Do you have an idea of where you might be going, where you'd like to go? Is it kind of open season for you? What's kind of been your process through all that?
Well, it's kind of been a little bit open season just because I came in with not a lot of expectation on what position I'd be willing to play. I'm pretty open. I started off offering
at outside linebacker and wide receiver, but I'm wide open to whatever a team needs. So
Speaking of wide open, Jackson with her second catch today, and that was a no-brainer. Look at that, wide open. Great dime there from Moody Mitchell, and then on the tackle was Drew Riley at a strong safety. So Brooklyn continuing their strong first quarter. We're talking with Virginia Beach wide receiver Rich Pratchard. I'll open it up to Andrew and Ryan. You guys have anything you want to pick Rich's brain about while we got him here? Silence.
Yeah, Rich, how do you, just making sure.
Hey, Rich, you can tell when guys don't broadcast too often, can't you?
Yeah, that's
just
right.
Kind of jumps off the
page.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Canadian standoff there. Did you enjoy the rookie process as you went through it over the off season? Did you feel like it, was it engaging? Did it help you kind of get a feel for what each team that contacted you was looking for, and help you kind of establish that value as a player to start?
Yeah, it did actually. It gave me a chance to get more interactive with the other people in the league, something that I hadn't done at this point as just a broadcaster. The only people I interacted with were the people in the game chat during the games I was broadcasting. So it did give me a chance to interact with them, and then start getting to interact with the owners and general managers.
Putting up with me is a challenge within itself, and I really appreciate that immensely. I do. But I would tell anyone, as far as the show goes, it's very informative. It's very professional. It's very well put together. For you to do what you do, no way in the world I could do it. I wouldn't have the patience with it. You make it a lot of fun.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And it actually just started off with just being an audio thing where I just, I had two phones, and I would record on one and have the other person call me, and I would have to record it like that, and kind of went through its growing stages. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, you have great communication skills, great showmanship skills. Even when I'm not on, that I listen to, I don't think I've missed but one show since.
That's a lot of shows, man. That's like 134 shows.
But you're good at it, so it keeps my interest.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. So, how are you feeling about being, back at Louisiana again?
I feel good. It's a lot of things that I thought over, and by me for the time that you know me, I'm kind of a funny person. That I looked at it as being, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be catching the ball, I'm not going to be running the ball, I'm not going to be like the high-profile guys. But I said, okay, if I stay at this position and able to help my team further it, when it comes retirement time, maybe I can make history by being the first at offensive lineman to retire from that position proly.
Yeah.
That's something to think about.
Very much so, and that's a very selfless position, to take. Stats are not really being recorded like that. You may have some fantastic blocks, and make sure you're the most important piece, because if you aren't out there playing at your best, then Johnny wouldn't be able to get that ball off because you have people on him, or running backs wouldn't be able to actually get those holes and stuff like that the way they need to. So yeah, your job is very important, and that's very noble of you to do that.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I know when I first got drafted to Louisiana, they pitched that at me.
Mm-hmm.
It was an interesting task, but once I fell into it, I really got into it because when I watched the games, I would watch when times I pull out and pick up on the linebacker. So it was a lot of fun watching that.
I am just glad that you were able to be on, that you took some time out to do this. And I'm glad that you found a team that, you call home and that you want to be and that you even want to retire from.
Yes, that was another strong point with us, too. The adversity as a and still ended up with a really, really good season. You know, the guys stayed focused and they stayed true to form. You know, and it was a well-knit situation that we had. And now that we got our pieces back into play, I think we will make a great showing this coming up season. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. And it's going to be right around the corner, coming up very soon.
Yes, it is.
All right, Leonard. Well, thank you so much, man. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, but I can't let you go without giving you the last word. So that can be a song, that can be a poem, or that can be a simple shout out. Right now, the floor is yours.
A simple shout out to all players in the league. Hope that you have a great season. Sorry that I can't be on the receiving end of any balls that you throw, Ashley, but I will be rooting for you as long as we're not playing.
Same here. Same here. You know, one of my favorite offensive linemen besides, you know, EJ and besides Sean Crooked on my team. So. But yeah, thank you for your time, and I can't wait to have you on later on in the season.
Okay, well, I'll be around either somewhere trucking or either somewhere on the couch playing with the baby.
Sounds wonderful. Thanks, Leonard.
Thank you, Ashley, and again, congratulations.
I appreciate that. Thank you for being on. I'll see you soon.
Legends never die. Their body may leave this earth, but the example lives on forever. The inspiration lives on forever. The spirit lives on forever. The legacy lives on forever.
We should mourn the loss of the greats, but more than more, we should appreciate that we got to experience their presence here on earth. We should appreciate we got the opportunity to learn from their example and apply it in our own lives.
That's what they would want. They would want their legacy to live on through the next generation. Their example of excellence, their example of discipline, their example of integrity, their example of self-respect, their example of lifting others up, their example of always striving to become their best self. It is now our responsibility to pass on those qualities. It is our responsibility to inspire those around us through our own example.
Wilson under center, two backs in the backfield. He's going to swing it out of the backfield to Phoenix Jones, and Jones walks into the end zone for an Aztec touchdown. Wilson takes the snap, far sideline, got his man! This time it's McCall!
Without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through, that I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I would do, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way, from where we began.
We started.
Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Mike's right. I do have a lot of challenges in my life and a lot of ups and downs, but this league brings me a constant source of positivity that you can't imagine. And so The days that maybe I don't want to get up in the morning or just I don't feel well, I think of the league, and it really lifts me up. And for that, I'll always be grateful. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your night.
The great Matt Wilson to cap us off, Mike. I think the thing that struck me about hearing from all those guys is that I never got to meet Billy Ray Valentine or Leonard Butler Sr., and they just seem like the nicest people. Just so nice. So I'm wondering what what your take was and what your memories are of these guys.
Yeah, pretty much the same, Cam, with Billy Ray and Leonard Butler, but I have heard great things, about what of a great locker room personality that Leonard Butler was, and how he was, beloved in the locker room over in Louisiana. Same Billy Ray Valentine. It would always make me laugh when I would just hear that name doing a broadcast, because it always reminded me of the character from 48 Hours that Eddie Murphy played, basically. And but yeah, didn't know either one of those guys personally. Never got a chance to interact with either one of them, but have heard great things about both. You talk about Rich Pratchett. He was one of the first voices that I recall hearing on the SFL broadcast. I know he was your sidekick for a long time, and he was one of the first voices that I heard, and it was a great loss when he suddenly passed away. And of course, the great Matt Wilson, great on and off the field. I can remember his passing, and what a surprise and what a shock that was, and what an impact it made on the entire league at that time. And just all four guys, great guys, and been great contributors to this league, and they'll definitely be missed forever.
I remember when Matt came up to me at the Las Vegas convention, and he kind of brought me aside, and he said, "Hey, I just want to let you know Matt's not doing too good, and it might not be much longer." And that was tough, to feel like, man, he may not make it to another convention, and unfortunately never did. But thankfully, he made it to the Dallas convention and got to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, and got all that on film and part of our history. I know that Rich loved the fact that there was a Sonic from walking distance of my house. He would come over and do games, and he would get all situated, ready for the broadcast, and he'd be like, "All right, you want anything? I'm gonna go get my drink." I don't remember what the drink was, but he just loved the fact that it was right there. There was only like one building in between my house and that Sonic. So those were good times, but we gotta keep things moving. Apologies to our Vancouver and Louisiana crew and fans waiting for kickoff there. Our first game ran a little long. We tried to squeeze it all in, compact it tonight. We did our best. So thanks for your patience and giving some of these legends in the SFL their due and their time. Mike, your spectacular performances from Week 5. What you got?
Yeah, we covered a couple of these guys earlier, Cam. You mentioned Stephen Bush with 9 catches, 155 yards, and a touchdown. I mentioned Gabriel Manning with a great performance, 8 for 110. Jack Wall had a great performance, 6 for 101. Who we did mention, though, was J.W. Hartson with an interception and the pick and the touchdown. We saw the King Jamal highlight of his big interception at the time. That was huge in that game, and a pick 6 for Canton. But with Stephen Bush, someone had to make the throws to Stephen Bush for him to have that type of day. And man, we found out what the Hall of Famer Ron Cochran is truly capable of when he has a hot hand. 4 touchdowns, 295 yards, 24 out of 34. Great performance from him. He gets my spectacular performance of the weekend.
Hey, there were a number of quarterbacks, including King Jackson, there in the chat. From Robert Thump giving his stat line, but there were a number of quarterbacks this week. Remember last week everyone's like, "Oh, the interceptions are crazy," and then this week there were a whole bunch of quarterbacks that had great weeks, no picks, clean sheet, and yeah, that he was one of them. And yeah, we didn't get the chance to talk about Charleston at all. What a win over Denver, 40-7. They really put it on, and they got off the schneid and got back to 3-1. All right, let's get to some Haynes vision as we break down Vancouver and Louisiana tonight. And, Mike, it starts in the backfield for both of these teams. And for Vancouver, they are just better when Ike McBride's got more carries. She's been great in limited action so far this season.
Yeah, any team that Ike McBride has been on, Cam, has been better when she's toting the rock and getting 4 or 5 yards of carry and making it tough on that defense to try to adjust. And they're going to need more of that, a lot of that tonight against Louisiana.
Nick Lockett, part of this receiving core that's going to have to step up, Mike, because Kendra Wells is suspended, inactivity, so she's off the roster. Lockett and the Legion offense may be a little thinner, but this guy is capable for sure.
Yeah, Nick Lockett is definitely capable, and that's really unfortunate news to hear about Kendra Wells because that's a huge blow to this Vancouver offense.
Christian Brown, look at that, Mike. 39 of 81. That's less than 50%. He's got to figure out how to get Brett Killian more targets.
Yeah, now these guys are struggling in the passing game right now, Cam. Struggling to figure out what this offense is going to be, but you got Brett Killian to throw to. All things are not lost.
Here's a look at Killian's numbers from the start of this season. All right, let's shift to the defensive side of the ball. Drew Hamilton, an underrated player in this league, but look at him just snipe Robert Johnson in the backfield.
He's definitely been underrated over the years, Cam, but he's been a great, consistent player throughout his career and coming up making a huge play in the game right there.
This is, Kevin Brackett used to wear number 55 for Vancouver, but now Vancouver's got a new 55. Marquise Reed making plays there. He's got 20 tackles, 4 TFLs so far this season, and has been a bit of a sniper in the backfield. We'll keep an eye out for him tonight. But Josh Farnsey is the real impressive linebacker of this unit.
Yeah, Josh Farnes has been around a long time, and this Vancouver defense, they have, been keeping the team in games all season long, and I'd expect more of that again tonight.
All right, let's go over to Louisiana, thanks to Ron Haynes, and let's take a look at the Louisiana Revolution and what they do well. Both of these teams are 1-2, trying to get that winning record. And like I said, it starts in the backfield with both these teams. Chris Grant Jr. had a nice day against Minnesota.
Yeah, just like Vancouver, this Louisiana run game is going to have to control the ball, control the clock, and keep the other team's offense off the field. It's going to be huge if Louisiana wants to get the win tonight.
There's Dwayne Salmons. I think the most impressive thing about this loss for Louisiana, kind of like Atlanta's loss to Mexico City tonight, was just how good of a run game they had against Minnesota. It was really the first time I've ever seen anybody run all over Minnesota. They didn't win the game, but they certainly played well on the ground. Let's next get a look at Tommy Utah. You see his numbers there, just a couple of touchdowns. That's been the struggle of the last few seasons, Mike, is just the explosivity in the passing game.
Yeah, Tommy Utah, he's coming to his own over the past few years, but you'd like to see a little more consistency in the passing game from Louisiana. That's going to be huge for them moving forward, and it may be the difference in the game tonight.
Ziggy Hronik is one of the many new targets for Louisiana in the wide receiving core, looking to get going. Tank Bennett has seemingly been in this league for just as long as Eddie Gage has, wearing the same number, but holding down that Revs defense. There you see his numbers, 26 tackles in 3 games. You don't necessarily want your safety getting all those looks back there, but he's shutting it down for the Revs. Look at Slyn Shady here on the line, making plays happen inside the 5-yard line. Those are big incentive pieces, and you need the big guys up front. It's a very underrated element of a great defense.
Yeah, you talk about being around for a long time, man. Slyn Shady seems like he's been around forever, making plays and doing what he typically does season in and season out.
Chuck Diesel's one more to spotlight. He makes a great play there, and there you see his numbers through Louisiana's first 3 games. Both teams are 1-2, looking to get above 500 tonight, and it should be a great game down there at Stack Up Stadium. It's Cadillac style. They've been waiting long enough for the kickoff. It's a late night here at SFL headquarters and across the league, but we hope it's a great game, and we hope you enjoy it. Thanks for being here for our abbreviated SFL this week. But we'll see y'all next week. We've got Albuquerque, Arizona next Monday night. That's going to be an exciting contest for sure. But Mike, any last words?
Well, I'm above 500, Cam. I'm 2-1 on the season. I didn't expect last week to be as
that's true. Give us your pick.
competitive as it was with DC. DC had a great game plan that just didn't pan out, but I know we got to go. I'm going Vancouver.
All right, man.
And I'm going to bed early. I won't even post it.
Mike, that's terrible television. You're supposed to tell people to stay up late, but fine, you do whatever you want anyway. You always
that's
have.
me. I'm going to bed.
All right, for Mike St. Green, I'm Cameron Irvine. This has been SFL This Week. Enjoy Vancouver and Louisiana. Coming up next.